Hey, what do you know? I think I might be going live here soon. Let's see. Hey, what do you know? Why, excellent. All right. This is hour 40, actually. Or, no, starting on hour 41 of 100 hours of reasons live that you should not support Autism Speaks. Um, what I've got here is, oh, okay, interesting. I gotta switch out my server here. We're just going to look at the news today. Now, as being that it is the beginning of April, um, we're going to start getting news articles about autism and Autism Speaks. Oh, what the heck did I do there? Alright, we're going to try this again. Oh, okay. That's fine. Here we go. So I'm going to first look at just news articles to start out. And to tell you the truth, what's going to end up happening with these news articles is more than likely there's going to be a bunch of organizations featured here that are supporting Autism
Start
Speaks.
out. And
And the reason for that is because they don't know any better. Because everyone hears about autism awareness now, but what we don't really talk about is autistic people still to this day. So the first one up here 11 hours ago. Autism Speaks. I hope my mic is everything working okay? So the first story here. I talk about how profit oriented Autism Speaks is, and like how the executive staff get millions and millions in bonuses. I mean, and they only get like $39 million. So when they're giving multi millions in bonuses, and then when they give you that 86 or 89 whatever percent, you can do some stretches. You can do a lot of stretches. We gave this person here $100,000 bonus, and that person was working to help autistic people because they were working for Autism Speaks. Therefore, that money went directly to helping autistic people because it was paying a person who was helping autistic people. Ah, so you can absorb a lot of money that goes directly to the executive staff expense accounts. The expense accounts. That person, went and spent $500 on a dinner for somebody because well, they were showing off, but they put it on the Autism Speaks expense account. And because they mentioned that they work for Autism Speaks, and they had a 2-minute conversation about it, and then they went and drank the rest of the night, and had fun. And that's how those meetings worked, and that's how people get away with stuff. So, I guess I never have mentioned I had a business. I actually had a business when I was 22. I was a portrait photographer, and I was still kind of a fundamentalist at the time. I mean, I not really. I definitely didn't go to my fundamentalist church anymore, but I wasn't really. I was still a Christian, and I this really had a big part of me becoming an atheist, actually. But nonetheless, I found out I did fundraisers for churches for whatever fundraising reason. Somebody needed help, somebody had cancer, somebody needed health care, whatever it was. And so it's kind of like we used to do the little uh, mobile studios, and they go and they'd set up in hotels or in J.C. Penney's or maybe the local Walmart or whatever, and it was kind of like that. And I had contact with many churches, and I just found out that everything was for show. The way everything that was done, because sometimes they'd want me to speak, sometimes they'd want to speak, and I got to see the background of how these churches worked, the inner workings of the church, and how everything was so orchestrated. And I mean, in every church, and I mean every church. I don't care if they only had 20 members. When everybody else wasn't around, these people were different. It was weird. It was scary. Really scary. And that really I found was off-putting, because I found that, well, like the congregation and stuff, they weren't even really interested in helping their own people. Yet that was their whole thing, that they were Christians and they were so good and they took care of themselves. And no, it was all a show. So I learned that a lot of religions and so forth, and I started learning and understanding cults, and that's why it stuck out to me that Autism Speaks was a cult. I am pretty familiar with the Stephen Hassan cult bite model, and that model basically is the standard right now of determining what is a cult, or something, if something is a cult, and to what degree, and the identifying factors, so that you know what one is. And he was also, I think he was a Mooney, and he is a professor, and that became his specialty, is helping people to get out of cults. I actually spent about, oh gosh, I don't know, purple's not here. I gotta ask my friends. and she's probably time blind too. She's probably time blind too. But I know I'm gonna guess the last 10 years I helped people escape from cults. And I was also involved with a pyramid scheme cult. And those are cults, any way, shape you look at it. The pyramid scheme businesses, they were a cult. Absolutely 1,000%. I mean, for sure. Every bit as much as a religion. So, I've talked about how Autism Speaks is very profit oriented. And out of that $39 million, as I understand it, around $400,000 goes directly, or is earmarked to go directly to help autistic families. The CEO makes more than twice that. Just in his base pay, his bonuses, and then expense account, which was over $400,000. It was actually, I think, almost equivalent to what they actually gave away directly to autistic families. Oh, and the money that they gave directly to autistic families, which this is just brilliant. Some of that, I believe, probably went to Eileen Lamb here. I call her Token. She is the token autistic person that works for Autism Speaks right now. As far as I know, there's nobody else that works there. Here's her, just two boys. Nice, good-looking family. I used to be a professional photographer. This would be a good, fun group. Anyway, so I've totally lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. So she is one of the executives. She is the executive of. She does media, and she is actually autistic, as are her two sons. And no, this is all coming from her, and she puts this out publicly. I'm not by any way doxing this lady. I certainly would never do that. Okay. So being that she is actually autistic, that would mean out of that $400,000, she said on Autism Speaks, the YouTube channel, that Autism Speaks paid for one of her sons to get diagnosed, which I think is great. I no problems with that. Um, I understand, she said, I don't know this for a fact. I understand, she said, that Autumn Speaks was paying maybe for one or both of her sons to go to school. I imagine a special autism school or something like that. In fact, I'm positive it is. She has been very generous just to share parts of her life. I don't think she gets too intrusive with her boys there. Um, but she may talk about ABA or whatever, and sometimes there's clips of her children, and it's never distasteful by any means. By any means. In fact, I think it's very encouraging, and I like the way it's been done. Um, but anyway, so it's really sad when Token here um, is one of the executives at Autism Speaks, and so she fits in that category of being the $400,000 that went directly to autistic families. So more than likely, it went out of that $400,000. And when that's the case, it looks shady, you know. If that is the case, I don't know that it is, but I do know how corporations and businesses work, and more than likely, that would be exactly where that came out of. And by rights, I mean that's what it was earmarked for, autistic people. Now, the funny thing about her is, I think that, as I understand that, there's 216 people that work at Autism Speaks. Now, if you were to take a random sample of 200 people, you're probably going to get about 2 to 4 autistic people, depending on the statistics where you want to look at. There's only one person out of 216. So if you took a random sample of random people anywhere in the world, you would have more autistic people than works at Autism Speaks. I'm just saying. It's called Autism Speaks. And there are, like I say, you take a random sample of people anywhere in the world, you're going to have more autistic people than work at Autism Speaks. That is very, very sad. um, but I think there are, I know the CEO, where is it? It's going to say who we are. So it's going to say, where is it? Who are we? Who are we? Who? Okay, here we go. About us. Leadership. This is Keith Wargo will pop up here. Okay, evidently his son. He has this like English, Australian, suave, like movie star look to him. I don't know. He just I love that look and everything. Anyway, I believe well, he's told me specifically. He sent me an email and he told me that his son was also autistic, and I'm sure that's true. Um, so he comes from a corporate background. I guess he said he had retired, and then he after COVID or whatever, basically being interested in autism and so forth, he ended up uh, joining the team of Autism Speaks. Basically, I think's his story. This is Chief Science. Oh, yes, we had the Chief Science Officer. We need the Star Trek music right now. And here's the Chief Science Officer. I wish I knew how to say this. Oh, sir, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce your name. I lived in Japan for a year, and I don't know what. I know he's Asian, but I should be able to say like some kind of Asian names. And look at that, I can't say it, so I'm so sorry. But Andy, the Doctor Andy here, I don't know much about him. One thing I think is really interesting about this page, this Autism Speaks page, is how white it is. Consider Considering it's an organization called Autism Speaks, you wouldn't think it would have all this white background. Now there are extensions. I got one here. It's called Dark Reader, and let's see. Oh, what's going on? Why is it not working? It was working. Anyway, it's called Dark Reader. It works on everything else on this. I turned it off for these purposes. But you would think an outfit called Autism Speaks might know that them autistic people, they got some light sensitivities. So we would not want to put a white screen on our computer. I've got sunglasses in reach from doing this 100 hours of reasons not to support Autism Speaks, because it's just been hurting my eyes. All right, so let's go back to the news here. Autism Speaks rings the bell. With all that introduction, my father was a Texas oil man. I got to see like some big companies, like it's International Paper Company now. My father was going to be the president of what was called Champion, their competitor, and that was down in Texas area. He was going to be the CEO of the oil and gas division, but he had to have triple bypass surgery and had to retire. It was 2 weeks before his surgery they voted him the CEO. Anyway, as such, I got to see the back door meetings, and the funny thing is I saw those meetings happen where corporations made multi-million-dollar deals in the 70s. And it was at like a kitchen table my dad made. And so when you see these shows where there's the long table with all the executives and stuff, no, the real decisions are being made by by 3-4 people drinking beers. And I was old enough to understand what was going on, and I would listen. I'd go hide, and I'd listen down the hall because I couldn't be seen. And this is comes down to a lot of my abuse, and a lot of the reasons why I don't like Autism Speaks and how it supports ABA. Because and it was also part of the culture that children were to be seen, not spoken to. But so I saw these backroom deals. So you'll have three or four people drinking beers or whatever, and they make the deals, and then they go back, and then all the minions, the big long table, then they go make it happen. They just say, okay. But the decisions were made the night before while people were getting drunk. and my dad was an alcoholic. I am not kidding. So with all that, Autism Speaks rings the closing bell for the NASDAQ. I talk about Autism Speaks being profit oriented, and I am not speaking about as a non-profit to help autistic people. I am talking about they want to make money for them. They also are still very, very heavily involved, unfortunately, in a lot of scientific research. And the thing is this: they are giving millions, I don't know, hundreds of millions. I know hundreds of millions. I don't know. No, they over time they have. But they like this last year they gave millions. I know, and I can show you here. It's the not open secrets. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go down here. This is Autism Speaks. This is the filing. And this is such a bad idea. And that's for 2023. All right. We got to go down, way down to where they start telling us how much they're giving to science research. I think it's coming right up here. Hopefully I didn't skip it already. Here we go. So Autism Speaks has said that, okay, they were originally founded to cure autism. So they wanted to do DNA stuff. They also wanted to do early intervention, so that like maybe you could do something when the it was a fetus and make it so it wasn't autistic. The problem with that is if you decide that you don't like people with blonde hair, so you try to cure them, so no blonde people are ever born, and then there's no blonde people anymore, that by definition is genocide. And I have an autistic brain. Some people have blonde hair. We are a normal human type. We're normal human beings, just like redheads. There are just as many redheads as there are autistic people. Are redheads considered to be abnormal? No. Neither should the autistic brain, because we've always been with humankind. So anyway, with the bad reputation of Autism Speaks really, really pushing for genetic research and stuff to cure autism, which a lot of autistic people feel is genocide. For instance, it's impossible to cure me, and this is the reason. If a dog is born a Dalmatian, you can't cure it to make it a German Shepherd or a Schnauzer or whatever else. But let's say you could. Let's say you could give a shot and that, poof, that Dalmatian turns into a Chihuahua because that's good. Then that dog is not the same dog anymore. Now, somebody's going to say, you're just comparing autistic people to dogs. Oops. In the same way, if it's a brain type, it's just a different type of brain or a different color of hair. That's the way that needs to be framed. It's not a disease. So with the inception of Autism Speaks, it was created to cure autism. That has created a huge uproar in the autistic community, and to the point that Autism Speaks now says that they do not believe that autism is a disease, and they are not seeking a cure. The problem is the damage is done. No one will ever, ever, ever completely trust Autism Speaks, because what you get here is Baylor College $100,000 science grant, $68,000 science grant, $114,000, and you get millions of dollars here as science grants, but you're never, ever, ever going to be sure where that money actually went if it didn't go to genetic research to try to eliminate us. There's always going to be that doubt, no matter what. So if Autism Speaks wants to help the autistic community, one, they need to stop having white pages. But they need to completely stop contributing in any way, having any association with any science research, period, for any reason, for autistic people. Ever again. And you could focus on services. And go directly to helping autistic people out on the street. What do they call? I am going to get in so much trouble because they remind me of the speaking spells when in the 70s. You'd hit the A and it was A and B. Yeah. Anyway, it reminds me of those old speaking spells. But what are the tablets called? Someone please let me know what those tablets are called where people can talk. Well, howdy, Purple. Anyway, so I am looking at the news. Purple, if you want to come on here, I can try to figure out how. Wait, I'm on OBS. I could restart it and go on Twitch and do it that way. I don't know. Okay. let me see how far back. Which one I want? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the news here. So, with all that being said, we have Autism Speaks here. Rings the bell. And I don't know what the story is. I have not looked at it. But the thing is this. These people are in bed. They're involved with people at the NASDAQ. Okay? These are top level money making executive people. Somehow, somebody from Autism Speaks knows these people. And that shows you the profit oriented. Why isn't it you would expect like a cancer society to know high level people for cancer. So I don't know. It just shows you that these people aren't far away from that corporate mentality. They have connections, connections that you and I don't have, and I certainly don't have anything. About this event, Autism Speaks is a non-profit organization. I thought what's going on here? Thank you. Okay. Oh, by the way, somebody turned me on to okay, awesome. I'm gonna be on a while, Purple. So okay. Well, I don't even know how to do it on OBS. I know there's ways to do it. I can figure it out. So I don't know exactly where this is gonna go. I always have fun. I try to guess. I think it's going to be how the NASDAQ are supporting autistic people or something, and how they're championing. Autism Speaks is the champion of autistic people, and how it's going to be all about Autism Speaks or something. But it's not really going to be directly talking to or about autistic people directly. It's going to be talking the subject. Like if you look at oh god, I used to remember breaking down sentences and determining what the subject and all. Yeah, the subject is going to be Autism Speaks, not autistic people. And this is the problem with this organization, and it's because of the way they always frame themselves. It come to us, come to us, come to us. That's why I've compared them to the KKK, because it would be like the KKK saying that we're the representatives of black people. It's absurd. Autism Speaks, a non-profit organization dedicated to... Okay, we start with Autism Speaks. They are the subject. Purple, oh my... isn't it weird how you could just... Yeah, that's what I meant, StreamYard. Yeah, we can do StreamYard later. I'll just pop right back on. It doesn't matter. whoever the Shadow Watcher is it will be able to follow. Because I may come on again right after I do come on. So Autism Speaks is a subject. See, instead of saying autistic people are now found by the blah 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 to be 1 in 56 blah 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 blah. No, Autism Speaks, a non-profit organization. See, isn't that nuts? That's what I hate. That grates on me so much that they do this all the time, and then it's going to be okay. They're using at least okay. Now this is not Autism Speaks who wrote this. I don't think. No, it isn't Autism Speaks who wrote it. I don't know who wrote this. It says NASDAQ up here. So maybe it's... Oh, okay. So yeah, this is NASDAQ home. So Autism Speaks may have written this. Now, I've been extremely critical about Autism Speaks framing autism still as a disease. Now, they explicitly, very clearly say they do not believe autism is a disease, but when you look at it on the website, it always has until like the 2nd of April, and then they started using some identity first language, because it was always a person with cancer, a person with autism, a person with Addison's disease, a person with autism, instead of identity first, which it says, this is my brain. This is an autistic human being, an autistic person. Um, but if you say a person with autism, that's like you caught a cold or got caught COVID or something. They do print out. Let's see. Not open secrets. We're going to talk about open secrets here in a bit. But Nonprofit Explorer. So this is Nonprofit Explorer, and they give, this is last year's statements. Now, in the filings and so forth, it really, I know there's some ways to kind of figure out where, how much like people got and stuff. I just don't understand these things. But like here they give these are all the 990s and the different schedules. And I don't know what this XML. I have no idea what it. Okay, that's code or something. Um, or a different type of file, I think. But yeah, you can go through here and it'll show you the actual forms. Uh, this does get interesting, particularly when I thought there was an area where I started seeing their bonuses and stuff, which was outrageous. I don't remember what that was. But yeah, here we are. We've got this is the NASDAQ. Autism Speaks, a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating an inclusive world for all autistic people. Thank you for using identity first language throughout their lifespan. That sounds, I think that's cut and paste from Autism Speak. And this autistic people, that was not like that until I think the 2nd of April, or so, I'm pretty sure. I've been extremely critical about that. I know they watch me. I know they watch me. I wish they would admit it. I just wish they would talk to me. I don't bite. You know that, Purple. I know I'm really harsh in my videos. But I have never attacked anybody on a live, ever. Oh my goodness. In fact, we ended up having a good time no matter who it is. Uh, in honor of the occasion, Brian L. Harper, Autism Speaks chairman of the board. Now, I don't know much about this guy. I need to look into this guy. This guy is chairman of the board. Okay, I'm going off on a rabbit hole. I can do this. I am autistic and ADHD. If I don't do this, I am not valid. I am validating myself right now with this rabbit hole as an artistic person. Brian Harper. It looks like the same dude. New York metropolitan area. University of. Okay, it's not going to want to give me. This is like a fake account I call Kendra that doesn't have any of my personal information on it. Okay, that's weird. How did that happen? Brian L. Harper. So we got the right name. Is it the same dude? Yeah, that's the same dude. Right? That's the same guy. All right, we got you, Mr. Harper. Ha ha ha. Realty? What? He's a realtor? New York Tech? Nope. Wait, is this yep? No, okay, different dude. Okay, that is a tech dude. Was he a real estate dude? Aha! He's a real estate mogul. Bum bum bum. No, I don't know. So he is a CEO of RPT, former president and CEO of RPT Realty. I don't know anything about RPT Realty. I don't know if they're So now let's go down this RPT. Green leasing. Okay, so he's a corporate executive. That's what we need to know. He is a corporate executive of some type. So now we're going to go deeper. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, this is what autistic people do. We go down these rabbit holes, and since we're doing 100 hours of Autism Speaks, I'm just going to prove we can do this. So we're going to put Autism Speaks, and I'm going to see why he is involved. So, of course, everything. This is the annoys me too. Everything always goes back to Autism Speaks. I don't know how they do this. But somehow it just every time when you go down a rabbit hole, look what happens. It goes right back to Autism Speaks. I don't know how they do this. I've got a friend that does tech stuff, but I can't talk to her much right now. And I've so been wanting to talk to her about this stuff. I'm making friends. I'm so proud of myself. I'm like really making friends, Purple. Other than you guys. Okay, so Autism Speaks, an organization dedicated to promoting solutions across the spectrum throughout the lifespan. Throughout the lifespan thing. I don't know why that. There's something about that just seems. I guess that's good. I don't know. It just seems cringy to me. I don't know. Why does that seem cringy to me? Am I just being stupid here? Maybe I had some life event or something, some traumatic event, and so now I'm like it's associated because really throughout the lifespan, I would hope throughout our entire lifespan, I guess why would we even have to mention that? I don't know. Maybe because adults are being ignored so much now? Since. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so sorry, Purple. Oh yeah, exactly, exactly. I would love to see the actual receipt. I would love to see the actual books, but you're never ever going to see the actual books of any place. Um, Even if they had them and could do it, you're going to see other books because sometimes, like, I knew a fella who was fairly close to the family who had a coal mine, and his wife had three sets of books. She had the actual books, then the books of what they had actually paid for and what things were actually worth books, so they knew what they were actually worth, and then they had the books for the tax man. So, and I still don't understand what the difference between knowing what they were actually worth and their books, and the difference that I know they probably changed some numbers for the taxes, but it is an honor. Okay, so announces Brian L. Harper as the board directors chairman of the board of directors in April 20th. So he's been there at least 4 years. As a member, Brian has been a force in creating a better world. Okay, I'm just going to read this. I'm not going to mumble through it because it's the way the framing. I always talk about the framing, how this is framed. This is not framed from a perspective of an autistic person. The subject is not the autistic person. It's always glorifying what we're doing. Come back to us. Do Autism Speak. That kind of thing. They never qualify an autistic person as being experts, generational experts at knowing things about autism. So I just look at the tone of this and see if you think this is all about autistic people or if it's about somebody else or something else than directly autistic people. Now I know this whole article here is supposed to be about this guy getting elected to the board, but it doesn't matter where you go. And when they start talking, quote, you'll see how they try to glory up what they're doing as if they're talking, and that's where it gets really twisted, and they're not really actually talking even about autistic people. So let's see what he says here. This is in quotes. It has been an honor to serve as chairman of Autism Speaks Board of Directors, and I am thrilled to pass the torch to Brian Harper, said Miss Kelly. As a member of the board, Brian has been, see, Brian's the subject here, a force of creating. Now I realize it's an announcement about him, but let's go on here. Creating a better world, has been a force in creating a better world on the spectrum and for those who love and support them. I always think that's really weird. It's like third or almost. They tried to go fourth person if they could. I don't even know what fourth person would be, but it's so distant and almost cold to me. I don't know. He has been a champion of our work to provide research advocacy services for the okay, at least they said autism community, and like I said, I'm almost positive that's because of me. I'm almost positive they just changed that language everywhere where they could in this site. They changed that. So very interesting. This was posted the 3rd March. This what? Okay, so wow, they did not write this in. Yeah, yes they did. They must. Okay. Recently, they have only said people with autism, or with cancer, as if it was a disease. So whenever they use this identity first, it's really weird to see. He has been a champion of our work. So like I said, see here how it's about them. It's not about to provide research, which, again, that is the worst thing they could do right now. Their reputation is so bad, they will never, ever, ever be trusted for a penny that they put into research. If they put any effort whatsoever, support into research, they will never, ever be fully trusted by the autistic community. Period. When they're giving this millions and millions and millions of dollars to science grant. Now, I know there's going to be little BS things or whatever. The thing is this. Nobody really knows where all that money goes. Nobody's ever going to trust you that it doesn't go to genetic research to eliminate us, because that's what you were founded for. That would be like the KKK saying that we speak for autistic people, and we're going to decide, or excuse me, the KKK saying we speak for or instead of black people. You don't listen to them, you listen to us. And you're as the KKK, your founding principle was to eliminate black people. Come on, that would be ridiculous. But that's exactly what's going here. The purpose was genocide. So you were never, ever going to be trusted with any science grants ever. That money should go to services directly to autistic families now that need it. That need devices, that need tinted sunglasses or need earplugs or need speaking devices or computer or whatever they need. Help with filling out paperwork like SSDI or Social Security. Things like that. Real help for the autistic community. advocacy services and support for the autism community. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I had a small business, and I kind of so that's kind of how I understood, and that's why I know a little bit about business. I had a small business, and so I went down that rabbit hole and studied, and I had to do all that myself, and I got into marketing and research and all that BS, um, and a lot of sales, and I was in a sales cult. Um, I was in that. It was called Equinox. It was a sales cult, a pyramid scheme cult. Let's look that up real quick. EQ. Wait, EQ. bleh, EQUINOX Corp, maybe. Oh, nope, there's another Equinox Corporation. That's not it. Uh, Pyramid, I guess. Pyramid. I'll say PY. Yeah, PY. I can't spell pyramid. Equinox. No, that's not it. It was this um pyramid scheme, um like vitamin company thing. Anyway, the CEO got in a lot of trouble. The guy who created it. I don't know if he went to jail or anything, but it got dissolved. Then he went. I think he went and started something else. Okay, so yeah, the problem here is it's all about Autism Speaks, and I look forward to seeing him lead Autism Speaks towards the vision to help all people with autism, with that disease, autism, reach their full potential. This reach their full potential like we're needed. That's what bothers me about that full potential thing. We're needed. It's us. We're needed to make them reach their full potential. I guess they're going to define that for us too. I mean, it sounds good, but coming from Autism Speaks, it's cringy. When they wanted to kill us, it's oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then there was like Shackley and stuff. I don't know if Shackley, maybe the Shackley was cool, but whatever. Mr. Harper is president. This is from 2020. Is president, chief executive officer, trustee of RPT Realty. Um, I don't care about him. In addition to being on the board of Autism Speaks. Okay, here we go. That's what I was looking for. Inspired by his son who has autism. Who has that disease, autism. And I know you can say, well, gosh, you're just nitpicking, you're nitpicking, you're nitpicking. No, it's the tone of the entire site. Remember, I know this is supposed to be, okay, he came to the board or whatever, but the tone of what they are doing always went back to Autism Speaks, not to autistic people. Like, you know, except for this little penny to help all people with that disease reach their full potential, which I still kind of sounds condescending to me. It does sound condescending to me. Um, Having a son with autism's what? With autism, Autism Speaks has become part of the fabric of our family, and we are forever grateful and committed to continuing this journey to provide the best resources for our community. Okay, you know what our community is? It's not autistic people. It is not autistic people. It's not the actually autistic community. It is the ABA, Autism Speaks, Autism Parent community. That's our parents like this person who is not autistic and their child is. Now, for because of organizations like Autism Speaks, because of the garbage that they're putting out, and because of the way they frame autism, and because of the way they disqualify autistic people by omission as being experts or knowing anything about autism, they've helped create that absolute separation of two communities. And the ABA community and Autism Speaks has not ever mentioned that there is an entire autistic community out there that are experts in autism and that you should go to them first. No, it's always come to Autism Speaks. Us that wanted to commit genocide, whose mission statement was to cure autism, eliminate autistic people from the planet, they want to speak instead of autistic people. Not on behalf of, and certainly not for. But although they say they want to speak for us, and they make it very clear, literally they say they want to speak for us, but they actually speak instead. During these unprecedented times, let's see, this is 2020, so that's COVID. It is essential to stand together, support one like another. Take on this role in this exceptional organization, continue to be a cause. Mr. Kate has been a major donor and a member of the board of directors Autism Speaks since 2005. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, well. Okay, that's weird. So they just, I guess they are adding this on at the end of this article? But okay, let's see. I think they just added this on about autism. Okay, so autism or autism spectrum disorder (ASD) refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors. Okay, that's from the CDC. That's a CDC statement. We know that there is not one autism, but many subtypes. No. No. There is only one type of autism. You're autistic or you're not autistic. That is so completely wrong. Why are they saying this? I do not understand. So this is Autism Speaks. With this white page, because they evidently don't know that white pages hurt autistic people because most of us have light sensitivities of some sort. Speaking of which, there's a fan on above me that I have to turn off. Sorry about that. The flickering was getting to be too much. It's going. Whoa. All right. So this is an article about the chairman of the board, and down here, this is what I found interesting. This is about autism. Okay, autism or autism spectrum disorder refers to a broad range. I'm gonna start this over, by the way. This comes directly from the Autism Speaks website. This is the Autism Speaks website. This is about the chairman of the board, Brian L. Harper. What's interesting is at the end of this article, we find this about autism. Autism or autism spectrum disorder, which I find it's weird that that's in lowercase, but whatever, refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behavior, speech, blah, 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 nonverbal communication. We know that there is not one autism, but many subtypes. This comes directly from the Autism Speaks website. Check this out. This is a page that was written on March 21st. I don't know how often the page itself has been updated, because here's where the article starts, and this is just part of the page here. Um, as you can see here, here's down here. But this is what's interesting. We know that there is not one autism, but many subtypes. What? That is not actually correct at all. Autism or autism spectrum disorder refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by, this is the CDC definition, by the way, characterized by the challenges with social skills, repetitive behavior, speech, and nonverbal communication. That is the CDC's definition. We know that there is not one autism, but many subtypes, and each person with autism can have unique strengths and challenges. Okay, that is not true. That is absolutely not true. Because we display and we have different things. Think of different dogs are being different breeds, but they're all dogs. We are all autistic. In the DSM-5 TR, there is only autism spectrum disorder. Then we talk about our traits and so forth, and how that may manifest. But we are all autistic. Period. This is factually incorrect. Now, there used to be, in the DSM-4, they had autism broken up into 4 different things or something, and that was like in 2015. 2014, I believe, 14 or 15 is when the DSM-5 came out. So about 2014, there were 4 different types of autism. Subtypes. Whatever. Now, technically, there are no subtypes. Now, we do talk about PDA and so forth. And some people may consider it a subtype, but it is not a subtype. And they're definitely not talking about PDA. That's a newer thing that actually really didn't even come up in 2020. But like I said, this may have been updated itself. But this is factually incorrect right now. We know that there is not one autism, but many subtypes. That's not correct. That's wrong. A combination of genetic environmental factors influences develop of autism, and autism often is accompanied with medical issues such as GI disorders, seizures, and sleep disturbances. Autism affects 1 in 54 children. Okay, not bad, but it's very strange that they had this statement. Here's my mystery person who's watching. Oh, hi, Pinka. Hello, Pika. So you're level 2. Yeah, I hate it too. I don't know if you know, my son committed suicide last October. He was autistic, and there were a lot of things going on. Okay, he was coming down from cocaine. He had alexithymia and so forth. But the thing is that he never, before all that happened, he never ever, and there was a girlfriend situation, but before all that happened, we were really pushing him, get mental health, get mental health. No, Dad, nah. He never would. And I think that's because of the stigma of mental health, specifically. Now, he did know he was autistic several months before he committed suicide, and I don't think that really had a horrible impact on him. But the thing is this. Autism Speaks has actively promoted the stigma against autistic people. And promoted due to that, particularly if you know you're an autistic person, you're even going to be less likely to want to get mental health. Right? Hey, you know what, Purple? Do I... I put in timeout. I'm going to put you in timeout. Okay, you're a manager now. So, yeah, each autistic. Wow, this is amazing to me. I got a little bit off the track there. I'm gonna put that into a video later. Is why I was doing that. But anyway, so that was my huge rabbit hole we went down about this guy. But so let's go into this. Boy, I've been at this a long time already, an hour, and I haven't even gotten through the dang first thing. Um, Autism Speaks non-profit organization dedicated to creating an inclusive world for all autistic people throughout their lifespan. This is an Autism Speaks quote. Visit the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. In honor, Brian Harper, Autism Speaks chairman of the board, rings the closing bell. An autistic person did not ring the bell. He has a son. I don't know where his son is. He's got his daughter there. As far as I know, or maybe that, I don't know. Maybe that's not his daughter. I don't know who this girl is. It looks like it. She's cute as hell, though. That's gotta be his daughter, because he's got that shitty grin. Look at that with the oh yeah that okay that's got to be the daughter. That's a cool photograph, actually. It really is. And so that's all they say. Okay, that was weird. That's where it stops. That's the end of the article. What's this 1 through 5? Oh, more pictures. Maybe it's not, but those two. If that's not his daughter, I'll be surprised. Look, they're even like canted the same way. Got the same little. How does that work? The shoulders and the head, like everything, just perfect. Maybe it looks like the way her collar is off a little bit, but yeah. So it's got to be his daughter. I don't know. That's good. That's a good photograph. I was a photographer. All right, so that's this Nasdaq. So our next story. I'm going to refresh this since I've been lollygagging so much. Whoa. Okay, this is Palm Beach Daily News, and they want me to sign in, which I'm not going to do. Sometimes if you go back to these things, they let you get through. Sign in, and then no. Okay, I'm not reading it. I am not going down that rabbit hole. Hope this doesn't do this. Okay, so this is another story. What is it? No, this is autism friendly. I don't want autism friendly material. Oh, wait. Okay, maybe it is have some autism speaks. Now this is just a random like newspaper marketplaces daily record. I don't know what place this is, where this is from. This is some small local newspaper. Actually, in my small town in Colorado, we had one called the Daily Record, but this is the Doctor Daily Record, whatever. For those of you who have been reading Daily Record, you know me as a contributor. I'm going to skim over this, excuse me, real quick, because I want to see what they're saying about Autism Speaks. Okay, this is where they finally get into it. So they're talking about some local fella or whatever. Okay, and now they're citing what Autism Speaks says that according to Autism Speaks, 1 in every 35 children, and those numbers are all over the place. This is the highest ratio I have ever seen. My son, he was 22, and you know, this is one thing. Pika. This is what's interesting. When I was his age, I ran away from home and I ended up going into the Navy at 17 when I was a junior. My parents actually signed for me to get in. There was a situation there. Anyway, so I had someone through boot camp. I had someone with me to basically tell me what to do and everything. And in that time, those worst times, I was kind of always supervised, and um, that really helped me. Um, and I my son wasn't able to have the same types of experiences I had, and he had different experiences. But he went off and started working. He also had a condition that was like giantism and dwarfism, where he did not have knees. He had to have two total knee replacements at 17, and he got into 22 and was working and was always in pain. He had like a girlfriend that he fell in love with. He had alexithymia. The girlfriend rejected him. Some coworker got him on cocaine, and he got down. He realized he was addicted, and he got off of the cocaine. But when he was coming down, he killed himself. Now he knew 3 or 4 months before that he was autistic. We'd spoke about it. Now, like I said, it wasn't a real big thing, but he had always not wanted to get mental health, and he just wouldn't. And we tried and tried to get him to get mental health, because he had alexithymia like I do, and I think all at once the alexithymia took over and he took his life. And the thing is Autism Speaks has always promoted a horrible stigma about. Have you seen the I am autism um, ad, Pika? Okay, okay. Um, so anyway, my son committed suicide as a result, basically, of all these things coming down. The thing is Autism Speaks has always created a huge stigma. I talked about this before my son took his life and so forth. What if Autism Speaks had created the opposite and put as much energy into the hate as into actually normalizing autism? Then maybe the whole mental health, even the whole mental health framing, would have been far better. Now, I'm not saying Autism Speaks had anything directly to do with my son's suicide by any means, and I never ever want to give that impression. But they sure as shit did not help. They spread hate and discontent towards autistic people. They have framed us. Yeah. So yeah, you've seen it. It is horrible, and that's the thing. And I was already on Autism Speaks and at beforehand, and so I've just kind of continued that, and I've gotten a lot more serious about it. Um, I I'm very shamed and hurt by the stigma of Autism Speaks. So, oh, thank you. Just one moment. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to confer with my family there for a sec. Okay, so let's take a look at this a little bit more. I want to see where they're going with this and see how this is framed. Now, this is not. Let's take a deeper look at autism. This is this daily record. In 2023, there were 5.4 million adults living with autism, myself included. Okay, so this person's autistic. Okay, so this might be this guy right here, Nate, who's writing this. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is cool. Okay. I don't like his language, but this is an autistic person. This is awesome. Unfortunately, this is not generated by Autism Speaks. What a bummer. Um, I was going through, as I was going through high school, I was special education. I never was technically in special education. According to, not technically, the Department of Education, about 10% of Ohio students who fall under a special ed umbrella are receiving select services for autism. So 10% of their developmental whatever type people are autistic, I guess. The special education umbrella, which I would have I would have fit into. And by the way, Pika, I was one. I was a level one support need autistic, and as time has gone on, and those and so a lot of people like to characterize one as no support. No, you still need it, whether you're getting the support you need or not. You still have those support needs. I don't care if you're getting them or not. But now I need a lot of support. I was just talking to my wife, who's helping me, and we basically were going over which doctors and so forth that I had talked to today, because she literally has to go over it with me like I'm a kid now, and a lot of that's part of the ADHD and so forth, and so I'm really like that. That's a real bummer, you know. I'm gonna have to move this over here. Um, I don't know if I can do that either. Anyway, so I want to read some more of this. This is kind of cool. Autism Speaks Foundation, a place to share stories and find opportunities. Now, getting back to the topic of Autism Speaks Foundation from earlier, it's partnered with the United Nations to celebrate the World Autism Day. Well, they actually kind of started that up. They lobbied for it, essentially, I guess is what you would call it in American politics. And increase that was weird. Opportunities for others to understand, accept those who live with autism. Okay, that sounds like he's cutting and pasting a little bit, which would be okay because that's their mission statement, and in this case, he's good. Another factor that makes a life difficult for those with autism is the environment in which they live and work. Um, so he just mentions autism. Darn it! What a bummer. I'm glad that there's an autistic writer though on that paper. That's cool. I'm gonna go to the tools here, and I'm gonna go recent. I'm gonna refresh it recent because I'm expecting these as the month to go on goes on to pop up more and more of it. Actually, I am kind of surprised that more haven't popped up, particularly around the second. More stories. So I and supposedly these all have to do something with Autism Speak. Okay, here we go. Okay, look at this.
Autism Speaks. The supermarket also celebrated the launch of Paradise Salad. The Three Meadows Farm product is grown, harvested, and packaged by young adults with autism at Somerset.
Okay, just one second. I gotta change something on my computer. I'm having a sound issue. Okay, now we can do it. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is interesting. I want to see what this is about.
In honor of Autism Acceptance Month, the ShopRite in Old Bridge donated $45,000 to Autism Speaks. The supermarket also celebrated the launch of Paradise Salad. The Three Meadows Farm product is grown, harvested, and packaged by young adults with autism at Somerset Hills Learning Institute.
So you can get your autism salad here. Get your autism salad here. This is the problem. Here we have some nice people, and maybe they want to do this for a promotion and promoting supporting your disabled community, supporting the different parts of the community, maybe the Hispanic community, whatever. I think that's great. I really do. So these are probably good intentioned people here. That once again, when we think of autism, because of the way it's been framed, I'm sorry. Oh, list for surgery. What kind of surgery? Oh, what kind of surgery? I'm losing it there. Wait, is Pico one of my trans people? Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Oh, God. Look at me. See what the hell you've done to me, Purple? I find out I have a new. Did you see? That was totally spontaneous. That was an autistic moment. I don't know if I've ever gotten an autistic moment like that before. I know. I know Purple's seen it. I'm turning red. I'm turning red. Okay. Oh, so. Oh my God. Okay. I am so happy. That's so cool. Okay. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about yours, but yeah. Pika was saying they just started teeing. Did you see me jumping and getting? I'm still. Pika, you got to understand. I don't know. I don't remember you if I have known you, but I've known Purple for I don't know almost 10 years, I think. And we have this community of friends. Purple, if you can invite Pika, if we don't know Pika. Um, but the funny thing is it started out as a weird, like just a group of people that just met online, and as the years have gone down, we've all like found out that like half of us are queer, or half of us are trans, or half of us are autistic, or some combination of whatever. Anyway, it's been a wonderful, wonderful group of people, but because there are so many trans people and so forth, when I found out I was autistic and when I found out that I was queer, me quote coming out was freaking easy because I had trans people and I knew how dang hard it was for them. So, like, I wasn't gonna be the wimpy one, the wimp. Yeah, I couldn't be the wimp. I could not have a trans person make me look like a wimp. Am I right here? Am I right? Right? I could not have a trans person make me look like a wimp. Oh my goodness. Oh, whew. But no, really, I was like, there was no thought about just immediately coming out as queer when I figured it out and when I was found out I was autistic. There was no hesitation whatsoever, and it was a lot because of my trans community, knowing these such wonderful people and seeing their lives and sharing with that them sharing that with me for a great many years. So yeah, wonderful, wonderful people. I'm in tears. I'm literally in tears. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now this looks. What's going on here? Okay, so we're going to go down to this one. Now I'm just scrolling down. Now this is from 3 days ago, and what we're looking at is articles. And what I want to look. The reason I'm looking at these articles is I want to look at the tone of what's being said about Autism Speaks. Like I said, you have a nice company like that wants to do a good thing, so they hear about Autism Speaks, or maybe they got an autistic cousin, maybe a son, whatever, grandma, um, and so they want to do the right thing. And they don't realize that out of that $45,000 that they gave there, that less than like 1% is going to go to directly to helping actually autistic people, as I understand it. Like out of the 39 million net last year, it was like a little around 400,000. They don't know that the autistic community itself hates Autism Speaks and considers many of us consider it a hate group. It's a cult. It is a cult, and it fits the cult. The Stephen Hassan bite model of authoritarian control very readily, much like the pyramid scheme businesses did in the past. So I want to take a look and show how Autism Speaks does not represent the autistic community, how they have hurt the autistic community, but because of their money making potential, because they have millions and millions and millions of dollars and corporate leadership to help them promote and advertise and so forth, when people think of autism, they don't think of autistic people, they think of Autism Speaks. I don't know what a roast is. You know what? This is so weird because I'm actually technically pan. Okay, and with all these terms with the LGBT, I don't even know if I know what LGBT means. I am queer. Okay, but this mind once we get past, I love everybody and shut up. Just shut up. Let's not make all these separations. Just be wonderful people. And that's how it's been with Purple all these years. And Mark was here yesterday. But Pika, I'd love for you to join us and get to know the community. They're just such wonderful people. So let's talk about this one. This came from Newswire 3 days ago. PR Newswire. This is World Autism Month. Autism Speaks champions change with new community messengers. Oh, okay. I think they're calling it Champions of Change. I think it's called Champions of Change, and I think it's. I'm gonna go on their thing and see if it's. I can't remember what this is. I just saw this last night. It might help if I spelt it right. Okay. Okay. It says champion has changed, but it doesn't say what it is. It just starts listing these people. Oh, uh, uh, uh. Okay. I don't know what this Champions of Change is, but the whole tone of this thing is just already bad. Okay, Alex's journey with autism, with that disease, autism, began with diagnosis of two in Los Angeles. I don't know who's written these, where they've gotten these stories. These must be stories generated by Autism Speaks. You can usually tell by the tone. It's almost like they have the same writer filtering or something. And you find that in cults. You have the same speech patterns, and even like in campaigns, when you see like Republicans say or "Make America Great Again," you see those same things. Evidence based. You hear that a lot from ABA, and what they're talking about is brainwashing works. We have proven it through torturing prisoners and other things, and it's not always that bad, but. Okay, so at 28, Alex is a documentary filmmaker. I think I may have seen an interview with this guy. his story is a testament to the power of determination, the ability to turn obstacles into opportunities. I, yeah, okay, whatever. That's, I guess, good enough. Um, I've never have accepted that there were. Okay, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna complain here. From a young age, Alex faced challenges, stigmas associated with his diagnosis. So yeah, he is an early diagnosed kid. That's cool. Despite the hurdles, his parents' support early interventions included ABA. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I've talked about that, and I've actually got an extension on here right now because if you see, if I go to any other page, they're dark. I'm purposely leaving this white. And by the way, if this that brightness is bothering you, I have mentioned this time and time again that a organization called Autism Speaks who puts out a web page exactly like you said, Pika, with this white page. And I keep on leaving this up like this because it hurts and I want people to notice and know what I'm talking about. And so I'm making myself suffer. I'm not even putting on my glasses. Um, but here they're basically promoting because look at the tone of this sentence. If you look at the tone of this sentence, they're promoting ABA here. From a young age, Alex faced challenges and stigmas associated with his diagnosis, from the misunderstanding to personal struggles with self-regulation. Despite these hurdles, his parents' support. So the subject, that would be his parents here. Despite these, his parents are the subject of the sentence. Isn't that weird? Interventions, including ABA and treatment, led to the foundation of his ultimate ability to understand, accept, and embrace his autism diagnosis. Most of the autistic community hates ABA. Most of the autistic community hates ABA. It's like, is it 60% or more? There's a very high percent. It's over 50%, I'm pretty sure, of autistic people who have been through ABA that report PTSD or CPTSD from ABA. When the treatment causes like 40% of the people to have PTSD, could you call that a therapy at all? That's ABA. That's why autistic people are so against ABA. Now you got to understand, ABA is based in behavioral science. That's where we get behavioral sciences were basically where they began to study like how we influence people and so forth, and businesses use behavioral science. Sales use behavioral science. Where they put things on shelves uses behavioral science. Brainwashing and cults uses behavioral science. The torture of prisoners to get information uses behavioral science. So it can go very, very bad down a very, very bad rabbit hole. But they use those. It can and does with ABA. It is applied in a very bad way that hurts autistic people. And the purpose of it is to make autistic people act and behave look like neurotypical people. And that has been proven. It's forced masking, and that has been proven to, in fact, hurt autistic people. And so that's where we have a problem. So here, okay, Alex has navigated high school. He found strength from his unique perspective, experiences fueled by passion, filmmaking. Okay, at least we're going back to Alex here. Alex. As an Autism Speaks champion of change, Alex is driven by the desire to empower others to embrace their uniqueness, pursued. I don't. It doesn't say what it is. It just says champions of change. Why are you not telling us what it is? There should be at least something that says this is what champions of change is, right? Okay, so purple, you are absolutely right. I think a third of us are okay. If you're autistic, a third of us are likely, or we're what, 2/3 or what, 30% more likely. Yeah, that's what it is. 30% more likely to be queer if we are autistic. Um, and I think that number, as far as now, I think what you might be talking about as far as being non-binary. If you throw in non-binary and asexual and all those different things like that, I think it might get to be. Yeah, I think you might be right. Purple. Autism. Okay, electroshock therapy, autism awareness. Still, were you meaning Autism Speaks? I, I don't know that they have an official position on shock therapy. I haven't seen anything written that I remember about the Judge Rottenberg Center or anything. I think and that's another thing. They don't call things out like that. Why are they not calling out the hate, like from the Judge Rottenberg Center and the torture? Well, because they approve it. They approve of ABA. They approve of treating autistic people like that. That's why they're not speaking out against it. That's the way they have not spoken out against William Shatner, and saying that William Shatner does not represent us, that he is abusive to autistic people. It's because they're peas in a pod. And for you autistic people, that means. Wait, I'm artistic too. That means the same dang thing. Mm-hmm. Wait, that was for the rednecks, evidently. Oh boy, I'm gonna get in trouble. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they did go quiet. And I think I don't know if they approve of it or not. I'm not gonna put that in their mouths. Alyssa, they went through most of their life knowing they were different, not understanding why. Okay, so they're getting autistic people here somehow. And so what they're trying to do here is get inclusive. This is okay, this is cool. This is cool. So if they have these champions and they have all these people, why the hell was Keith asking me what the autistic people needed? Huh? Huh, Keith? Why were you asking me? Doesn't he have that European suave look, though? Like or Aussie look, like he's like a suave actor or something like that. James Bond kind of look at. I don't know. But what? Yeah. Okay, so to go back, we're going to go back and go in this champion. In addition to being a champion of change for Autism Speaks, advocating for autistic autistic people all over the world, Alyssa is completing her degree. Okay, at least Alyssa is a subject of the sentence. Urban planning spaces dedicated to the celebration empowerment of all communities. They're happiest doing land. Oh, okay, she's happiest doing land-based work, learning from indigenous peoples who originally inhabited these lands. Okay, well, I don't know what these lands means. She could be from Australia. Okay, but okay. Autism Speaks Canada. Okay, so we're talking Canada, the Canadian. Yeah, I think they do call them indigenous people there. Where she lends her voice as an advocate for a transplant of these conversations surrounding autism awareness and acceptance. Okay, at least it's talking about her. Alyssa's story exemplifies a power, whatever. Watch this. It's going to go back towards Autism Speaks. I can almost. Alyssa's story exemplifies the power and strong minded belief in oneself and passion to create positive change in everything she does. Their commitment to amplifying marginalized voices and fostering inclusive underscores their role in the autism community and below. Oh my goodness! I thought this last two sentences were they were going to circle back to Autism Speaks because they usually do. So that's kind of cool that I was wrong there. At 17. Now these are all young people, and I'm going to tell you something about every one of these kids. Almost guarantee you. We're going to plop off of this page here because it's hurting me. I will guarantee you. I'm going to see if I can actually dark mode this for a moment. Why am I not? That's a bummer. It's not working on this one. I had turned it off because it was so hard to see. But the problem with all these kids here is this. I guarantee you every single one of these young folks. Okay, she's not a teenager, it looks like. But every one of these youngsters, all of these people probably even including this one if she is autistic, went through ABA. They are all part of the autism parent community where their parents probably weren't autistic. So they put them through ABA and they were introduced to that cult. So just like in religion, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Purple, just like in religion, God did it. So if there's any improvement, if they from between 5 and 10, if they can learn to talk, Autism Speaks. God did it. It couldn't have been their environment or whatever else. And these kids are put in there like 40 hours a week in some cases, sometimes even more, up to 60. That's more rare. 20 hours a week for years. Now, this is the thing. Because this is a business, ABA is, when they get there, they have a new client. They could be a potential client for years. And they can get, 10, 20, 40 hours a week out of them. Right? So, what happens is it becomes a culture where they make the parents believe that ABA has done everything and they attribute everything to Autism Speaks. They do teach the parents a few things or whatever, but once again, it's not to teach the parents. It's not about the autistic kid. It's to make the parents dependent upon Autism Speaks, dependent upon the church. Okay? And so when they become dependent on the church, God did it, and that's what ABA becomes the church here. And so these people grow up like I did in a fundamentalist church in ABA, and their personality, who they are, becomes tied in with ABA and Autism Speaks. So it becomes part of their identity. So it's very, very easy for these autistic people that have been indoctrinated to back up Autism Speaks now because they've been indoctrinated since they were children. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with every one of these people by any means. It is very common, and it is where you're going to get the bulk of these actually autistic people that support Autism Speaks. And it's from the brainwashing, and it's from the why is this not dark? There. Whew. That was hurting. Okay, so let's go. Wait, I'm going to go back into this champion's chain. I'm getting a little bored with this, but who's this lady? Tanya. Okay, she's a professor. Since nursing, she's a professor of nursing since Tyler's diagnosis. A mother's intuition. Okay, so this is an autism mom. I so consistently call this Purple. It is so funny. Are you still listening, Purple? It is so funny how, from being from our community and watching the fundamentalist community and watching Greg and Locke and oh, who's my boy? Who's my son? Uh, I forgot my son's name. Who's the young kid? Me Me and went back and forth all the time. That young preacher. Yeah, it was autism moms, but that's what she is here, and I'm not even going to read what it says. I like the way they have been phrasing this because they have been staying on subject. At least they're, for the most part, talking about the people. Now, this one, he's 23 years old. Let's see what his story is. Now, I have not read these stories, and remember what I said there. So we're going to see if this. I'm diagnosed with autism at 2, so he probably. Oh, I hate it when my computer does that. He probably got ABA young. I'm trying to see if they mentioned ABA or Autism Speaks. I'm just kind of skimming this. Uh, okay, so the fact, I think this is probably an English speaker. This is probably an American. They're going to Missouri, St. Louis, so I'm going to guess this is an American. Okay, so he didn't. There's no as champions of change, the mother and son duo seek to dismantle associated barriers associated with autistic individuals, amplify those voices with autism speaking. Okay, so yeah, they didn't go into it, but okay, okay. It says he's 23 years old, so we know in the last 23 years, um, ABA has been the primary thing. He is involved with Autism Speaks. So I'm almost going to say, I'm going to call it that he went through ABA, but I can't prove it here. I wish I could. Logan Slaughter, diagnosed at 10. Once again, Arkansas. He's from Arkansas, so he grew up in ABA in America. I called it. I called it. uh, but tell me, Purple, is it not crazy that how the skills that we've gotten over the years, how we can just pick these apart right off the bat, even though it's Autism Speaks, but just like we can analyze it exactly like it's a religion, and it works exactly the same. Isn't that crazy? So anyway, so I'm trying to get through this article finally about the news. This is World Autism Month. Autism Speaks Champions of Change. It's Champions of Change, with new community messengers. This is World Autism Awareness Day. I love these black pages. Whoever told me about this extension, I so appreciate it. And this extension is called Dark Reader, and it will make white pages dark. And like any pages, it's great. Okay, so this World Autism Day. Autism Speaks is announcing the launch of its newly established Champions of Change program, introducing an inaugural class of 5 autistic advocates and spokespeople from around the country. So they were the United States, with a wide range of experiences, support needs, connections to autism. At least they think that they're from the United States. The program launch, part of Autism Speaks Celebration World Autism Month. The recognition of its nearly 2 decades of impact marks an evolution of collaborating with standing alongside members of the autistic community. Okay, so I can tell you the way this is written. This is not a Autism Speaks writer. This is not an autistic person or a person involved in the community. They are reading stuff, and kind of putting it in their own words here because just and it's pretty standard what you're going to see as far as a description of Autism Speaks here, because that's what people know. And just because, and we talk about this too with the Bibles, just because one translation has 1,000,000 copies and another translation has 10 copies does not mean that translation with the 1,000,000 copies is a better translation. It's just that translation is more recognized. And with Autism Speaks has name recognition, but that is not credibility. And people conflate that. And so we get articles like this because they don't really know. They haven't looked into the autistic community. What they do, this is some writer or whatever, and they're like, okay, Autism Awareness Month, and so they're, okay, Autism Speaks because autism, whatever, the name recognition, they look at the site, boom, they write their article kind of thing. But they don't Google, and if they go to the Better Business Bureau, they've got a 4-star rating because they do their paperwork right. And the Better Business Bureau obviously does not take into consideration all the controversy behind Autism Speaks. And that's a big problem, too, that we need to address. It just means that translation had a better distribution network. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is Autism Speaks has a better PR than the autistic community, so to speak, or any other autistic organization, or any organization that is run by autistic people. They have name recognition, but that is not credibility. However, I think most of it, even autistic people, just automatically associate name recognition with credibility. Okay, hey, thank you so much for being here, Purple. Pika, I hope you're still here. Now, I've got 3 people watching right now, I think. Whoever else is watching, I would certainly appreciate it if you'd let me know so I can say hello. The reason I'm asking Pika is because Autism Speaks watches me very, very closely right now. The Keith Wargo, the CEO there that I was talking about, he okay, now it's working for Autism Speaks, the dark mode. He sent me an email specifically about my son committing suicide and said that his son was autistic and asked what the autistic community could need, and or what it asked me basically what the autistic community wanted or needed or something like that. And hopefully I turned that back off for this page. Yeah, I did. Anyway, so I oh God, I gotta turn this thing back on. Holy hell. Woo! Okay, so yeah, so you get this writer or whatever, and they're not cutting and pasting, don't get me wrong, but they're doing a brief overview, and they write this thing, which is cool because it's good for a story or whatever. I don't know what PR Newswire is. Looks like probably a newspaper thing. Okay, so Autism Speaks, and okay, this is what's weird too. These people are finding out more than the Autism Speaks website champions a page could tell me. I sure would love to know their resources. Autism Speaks Champions of Change will serve as messengers, advocates, allies, and advisors for the nonprofit organization and to the autistic community at large. Helping steer the future of the organization. The problem is these autistic people I have already shown do not represent the actually autistic community at all. These are ABA indoctrinated people. They're on the other community that do not have contact with actually autistic people. that think ABA cured them or helped them. And maybe it did in some cases. But who have been indoctrinated to this autism mom side, that side of the community. Where they, and so here they're actually saying, well, we are recognizing autistic people. Look right here. But no, these are the cult indoctrinated people. These do not represent actually autistic people at all. So no, Autism Speaks, you're dropping the damn ball. And I am going to call you out on this time and time again. And I know there's at least one of you from Autism Speaks watching me right now. And I'm gonna timestamp that one. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Now I'm starting to sound like one of those like radio guys from the like freaking 90s or whatever, right? I certainly never did want to. Those politic guys on the AM radio. You remember those, Pika? Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story, Pika, about Purple. I've known Purple for years, and I didn't really know what Purple's gender was. We got to be very close friends. And one day, Purple comes out. We're on a live stream. He's like, yeah, I'm trans, and we're like, okay, well, that's cool. What else is going on? You know, and but the funny thing is because it was no big deal because it's our community. It's just us, and everybody just known Purple and loved Purple, so it was just another day. Basically, Purple wore something different one day. I never saw Purple transition at all. I just saw my friend basically wear something different one day, kind of thing. But the funny thing is one of us in the community is like, "Oh, okay, you're trans. Which way?" And Purple has taken that as the hugest compliment because that's our community. We didn't know, we didn't care. We love each other, you know. Well, and that just bugs the crap out of me. What you're saying that this does not count. Yeah, anyone who wants to stand up against me and wants to make a video or whatever and say, yeah, these are all actually autistic people, and I concede that is the truth. But they are indoctrinated in that cult, that side of the community that is not involved with the actually autistic community. So they do not, in fact, in any way, shape, or form, represent actually autistic people. The actually autistic community, which makes up the bulk. We're talking 80% of all together, probably. The entire, that's the people who even support the community. 80% of us are probably in that actually autistic community now. So, and that's just my random number that I'm throwing out there. There are a lot of us out there, and most of us in the actually autistic community, I can definitely say, probably 90% of it, most of us do not support Autism Speaks at all. All right, so we're going back to, I'm finding out more from this article. This was so weird. Okay, champions have changed, and then there's nothing. It just goes into these. It doesn't say what it is. And this is the... How? That makes no sense. I'm going to find it out from the third party. Autism Speaks Champions of Change will serve, and like I said, whoever else is on, please say hello so I know who you are. And if you are from Autism Speaks, I would so love to have a conversation with you and talk about these things. I know you don't want to talk to me because these things are so embarrassing, but if you want to talk to the actually autistic community, I am not mean to people online. I am very tough when I'm on a monologue. but I wimp out when we get online. Oh, that is so cool, Pika. Oh my goodness. Oh, I am so excited. Pika, you're gonna have to do it through. You got information from Purple, hopefully, because if you did, then I'm through my Twitter. Mine's my Twitter's loot. Oh, if you go to here, I will show you. If you go to the autistic page on YouTube, I will drag it over here. My channel. Okay, here's my channel on YouTube, and I think on this page here, I give my Twitter. Yeah, I think that's good. Yay! Okay, it's good. So that gives my Twitter. Please say hello or tag me or whatever. Um, you might have to do that through Purple or whatever. I'm really not good at that stuff. I'm horrible, but I certainly do, and that's where we communicate a lot together, is through Twitter. We'll probably have to end up moving to I don't know, Discord or something here soon. Champions of Autism of Change will serve as messengers, allies, advisors to the nonprofit along. Okay, we read that. It takes courage to share a very personal journey and advocate for one's needs. Bullshit. I mean, not always. Not always. I mean, sometimes it can. If you're a trans person, you, yeah, because you or might get beat up. Um, but or they might try to like force you out of the country if you're a trans person now. But okay, but you know what? This is your opinion. I'll let you have it. Okay, our champions of change embody the spirit of fearlessness in representing a wide range of stories from autistic people, caregivers, and allies who make up our community. Okay, I like that. That's cool. That sounded good. Said Keith Wargo. Oh shit. He wasn't talking about the actually autistic people. He's. Oh, like, okay, that's a great autistic statement. It wasn't. He's talking about the other side. We are proud to amplify. See, here he is speaking instead of. Here we're talking about this champions of change. This is the problem. Okay, I got to record this one. Okay, this is the problem here. Autism Speaks has its champions of change thing, where it's supposed to be actually autistic people. These are not actually autistic or people from the actually autistic community. These are the brainwashed people that have been through ABA and now are associated with the Autism Mom, Autism Speaks community. Now, I have said it is great to speak on behalf of autistic people. It is not good to speak for autistic people. But Autism Speaks flatly claims to speak for autistic people. But what they actually do is speak instead of autistic people. Let's take a look right here. This is Keith Wargo. It takes now this article here is about the champions of change. This new community messengers who are Autism Speaks 5 people that they have chosen that are, like I said, in the Autism Mom community to represent autistic people. And so they're supposed to be the autistic voice. They are not from the actually autistic community. They do not in any way, shape, or form represent the actually autistic community. Let me make that perfectly clear. Okay? So what I've with what I've said, it takes courage to share a very personal journey and advocate for one's needs. Our champions of change embody the spirit of fearlessness in representing a wide range of stories from autistic people, caregivers, and allies who make up our community. Keith Wargo from Autism Speaks, President and CEO. So this entire thing's supposed to be about these 5 autistic people speaking for the autistic community, yet in the same very article, the CEO speaks instead of autistic people. This is David Page. Screw them, flap harder. Oh my goodness! I sure hope I find that one. Um, wow, wow, wow. What? Oh, really? What state is that? If you don't mind saying. Um, I had some friends that they had to move. Actually almost moved to Germany. Um, they they had some connections to Germany, and they almost went there for political assignments. Asylum. What slogan is that? Oh, screw them, flap harder. Yeah, uh, that's. I was on a Facebook page one day, and talking to somebody, and it was when I discovered I was autistic, and I started um, unmasking, coming out, whatever. And I caught myself stimming at a store, and I looked up, and I caught somebody looking at me, and this person says, stim all you want, to heck with what they think. And I was like, yeah. And that's where screw them, flap harder came from. Um, Basically saying, it's okay to be autistic. And I really preach personally that a lot of people talk about autism acceptance and then, accepting that you're autistic or whatever, but I had to literally give myself permission to be autistic. Permission to look childlike, permission to stem, permission to look different, permission to be who I am, permission for this brain, for it to be okay, for this brain to be what it is. And I really push that, that it's okay to be you. It's okay to be a trans person. It's okay to be queer. It's okay to be autistic, ADHD. Um, and it's really awesome to be you. But when you're late diagnosed, I think the most important thing is that you really truly give yourself permission to be who you are. And I know you're going down that road, and oh my God, I'm gonna sound so horrible. That so inspires me. Oh, but I have been inspired by the trans community, and that's why it's been so easy for me to come out as queer and autistic and so forth, because they watching their journeys and living through those years, watching their journeys, and I, not for a moment did I even hesitate. It wasn't even a thought. I was coming right out, boom. And I thank the trans community for that, because they showed me how much that I could love myself and be me. And for a lot of trans people, when they're going through transition, it's very, very hard, because uh, people can tell that they're trying to transition or whatever, and it sometimes it can be obvious, and that really sucks. And so, like, how could I be such a wimp to hide the fact that I was autistic or queer or something after having such powerful people in my life, right? How could I be such a wimp? Oh, hell no. And to let those darn trans people show me up like that? Heck no. Right? So that's where my love came from for the trans community. And let's go on. Um, but this is really sad that this CEO was talking instead of autistic people. That's not cool. We're proud to amplify the voices of these advocates and will play a vital role in creating an inclusive, accepting world. We are proud. He's talking about autism. The aut- Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks. He makes it about Autism Speaks when it was supposed to be about these kids, these autistic kids. They're young. Accepting the world for those living with autism by bringing to light the real needs of the community. Once again, when Keith Wargo says the community, it makes me sick. Because he's talking about the autism mom community, not the actually autistic community. He's talking about that cult, Autism Speaks, which does fit the Stephen Hassan bite model of authoritarian control. So, I'm not going to go over this. This is a brief description of these 5 these people are actually autistic, except for this person is a professor. Maybe they are autistic because it seemed like. Okay, we're gonna go back to Taylor and see if she's autistic. I thought she was just her autism mom. Because it says professor instead of identifying her as autistic, understanding how autism affects her son, potential to help him. I'm just going to see if she found out that she's autistic. She may be autistic. She may be autistic and not even know it. Now. Okay, it doesn't say anything. Yeah, she's basically an autism mom. And I don't have anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with being an autism mom in itself. It's the fact that because she is an autism mom, and got brainwashed in ABA, got taken into that cult, into the whole Autism Speaks thing. She does not represent me. She's not even autistic. So out of the four, it looks out of the five, there's only four actually autistic people, and those people come from the brainwashed autism mom community, not the majority of us, not the actually autistic community. And Autism Speaks says they speak for autistic people, which they shouldn't. They should be speaking on behalf, but instead, even here. And this isn't even Autism Speaks. They had an opportunity when being interviewed here or whatever to have these actually autistic people speak. But instead, Keith Wargo spoke instead of autistic people. And this is why we have such a difficult time with Autism Speaks. So what I'm doing right now, I'm going to go back through here. I'm sorry. I'm going through articles right now relating to Autism Speaks, and then I'm just going off the cuff completely. Some of the things that I have covered here, I'm sorry to be flashing here back and forth. Okay, this is Nonprofit Explorer. This is projectspropublica.org. And this is showing all the grants that Autism Speaks put money towards for science. 100,000 here, 68, 114, 131, 97,000, $250,000 here, 20, 70, 40, 30, 22, 358, 144, 50, $250,000, 300,000, 200,000, 130. Okay, we're talking about millions, and the list goes on and on here. Yeah, it keeps on going. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars here. The purpose of Autism Speaks, the reason it was started, was to cure autism, was to eliminate autism from being on the planet. The problem is the reason I'm autistic is because of the way my brain works, how it formed in my mother's womb. I have an autistic brain. Some people are born with blonde hair. Some people are born with dark skin. Some with light. Some people are born autistic. Some people are born whatever with CP. Some people are born missing limbs. We are born with a different brain type. And that's what it is. It is literally a different brain type. It functions very differently, and it can give us challenges. It's okay to say that. That's okay. Right? But the problem with all these science grants is the purpose was to eliminate, was to cure me. So if let's say you're going to cure a Dalmatian of being a Dalmatian, so it turns into a German Shepherd. If you cure that Dalmatian, you give it a shot and it turns into a German Shepherd, it's no longer a Dalmatian. Which means it's something different. If you were to give me a shot to change my brain, you would have to change my brain. Literally give me a different brain, or change how it got formed or whatever. And so I'd literally have a different brain, and I would literally be a different person. People like Galileo, Alan Turing, Tesla, probably Edison, Einstein, probably Althusser, There's so many of these people who have, like Bill Gates now has actually come out as actually autistic. Whether you like him or not, Elon Musk, these few brains in the world have had a, like you have 1 billion brains or whatever that are like that, right? And I'm not saying Elon or anything is all that or whatever, but nonetheless, he has had a super impact on the world. And when you have people that have that type of impact on the world, and they tend to be autistic, the greatest of inventors in our times are more than likely almost all autistic. Uh, Newton, you know, but we don't. The thing is if you eliminate that brain type, then you will not have the possibility of having these brilliant, brilliant brains. Okay. And I believe we're all brilliant in our own way, but we haven't necessarily all lived to our full potential or whatever else. And that is one thing that is in the mission statement of Autism Speaks that I kind of agree with in that respect. This is the problem. When we have all this money still going to science research, no one will ever, 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 ever trust Autism Speaks. Ever. Because the purpose was genocide, literally genocide. Imagine if the KKK said, "Well, that was back in the '60s. We did that bad lynching and murder and stuff, but now we speak for autistic people, or for black people. If you want to know about black people, you come to us. And black people, if you need anything, you come to us. We are your resource." And then they're dedicate a lot of money they're putting towards hate stuff still. No matter what, Autism Speaks will never, ever, ever be trusted when they're giving money to science of any way, in any shape or form. They have dropped the ball, and because of the way that they have characterized autistic people, how they have demonized us and made us look like horrible, horrible creatures, less than human, in my opinion, they're never going to be trusted. So, the ideal solution is to abolish the organization completely, because you're never going to recover. You're never. It's like the Nazi Party or something, trying to like put on a good face. It's never going to freaking happen, ever. No matter what, the Nazi Party would never, ever, ever, ever going to be considered the best thing in the world, even if they were. Even if they had changed. It just can't happen. So, if Autism Speaks was to stay and was not to abolish itself, which it won't do, the only solution I can see is for them to take this millions upon millions of dollars that they're donating to science, to research, to genocide, because you don't know exactly where this money's going to go. Nobody does. And people donated this money hoping that they would go to autistic people, to actually autistic people. Instead, you're putting it towards science when you're to cure, work for, to help autistic people, when all you invested in science for was to destroy us, to kill us, to commit genocide. So no, you never ever will be trusted. The Nazi Party will never ever be trusted. Nor should they be. Nor should the KKK ever be trusted. We're the KKK. You don't listen to black people. They don't know what's going on. You come to us. And we're not like we were there in the 60s. We represent. We speak for black people. We are here for the good of black people. Bullshit. That's ludicrous. And it's ludicrous for Autism Speaks to have the audacity to think that they're going to speak instead of us. And that is the entire tone of this website right here. Wow, to me, I sound like I'm doing really good, you know. I sound like I had that little speech there. I just think I sound really freaking wonderful. I'm looking I'm looking at the chat here for Pika. My family used to support them. Well, you know what? I would have supported Autism Speaks by all means. You're damn right. And that's the thing with ABA or whatever. The doctor says, well, yeah, the only one treatment we have is ABA. And then Autism Speaks, you start to study it, and then you find out that maybe there's some people that are saying, autistic people saying bad things about it. You get to ABA, and they're like, well, there's always one bad apple. And they write it off. And then they do not mention that the autistic community hates it and considers it torture. And a lot of times, you know, is lying by omission. And that's what they do. And that's what I'm going to call it, flat out lying by omission. Eileen. This is Eileen. She's the media person. She is actually autistic. She is the one. I call her token because, as far as I know, the one person that works for Autism Speaks. Moving right along. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. All right. Athlete with autism. So we've got language here where it kind of could look like with the cancer or whatever, instead of identity first language. Athlete, autistic athlete, or athlete, autistic, athlete or whatever. And this right here is okay. So this isn't actually Autism Speaks. This is a autistic person who's going to speak. Okay, this is NASDAQ again? Why am I getting the NASDAQ again? I don't think I played the little movie. I want to see what the movie says. I can't hear anything. Why am I not hearing anything? They didn't give us any volume. Wait, here we are. It's not, okay, it just doesn't have any volume. And it's not my computer. That's weird. Okay, we already talked about the NASDAQ. I won't get back to that tonight. This is World Autism Month. Autism Speaks Canada urges allies and friends to fearlessly stand together for change. Okay. So this is Globe Newswire. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking at recent news articles. Okay, this is just pulled up from Google. Recent news articles and how Autism Speaks is characterized, because they have name recognition, which people inadvertently, our minds automatically qualify them as reputable with name recognition. That's why you have so many, hear the same commercial or the same word over and over again in commercials. It's that name recognition. After so many times, it lends a certain credibility. So once we get into that, we want to see how these different articles and so forth, how they are characterizing Autism Speaks. Is it from the perspective of the actually autistic community? Is it ableist? Is it hurtful towards the autistic community? Is it, and this is the big thing, Autism Speaks is very self-centered. They say they speak for autistic people, which they shouldn't. Speaking on behalf of autistic people is cool, but instead they speak instead of autistic people. So we're going to see how this is framed, and hopefully this is like an outsider's view. This is the big thing. I want to see what outsiders randomly, how they see Autism Speaks and what the truth is. And that's why we're looking at this. All right, so I don't know how big Autism Speaks Canada is, but I do know that they are fairly active. And I love the fact that there's so many people that want to be a part of the actually autistic community and want to help autistic people. I cannot say how much I appreciate that. You know, Christians. As an atheist, I helped. Well, I am still an atheist, and I've helped people get out of cults for many years. I even helped a preacher get out of his church one time when he was about to retire. I met him, and there's something about him. And one time, I pulled him off to the side. I was like, you know, I know that sometimes preachers are very alone. You know, I'm not a. You know, I'm an atheist. If you need to talk about something that you can't talk to anyone else about, I'm here. And he reached out to me. He really did. And I directed him to an organization that helped him out that is extremely, extremely secretive, the Clergy Project, and that it was great. But anyway, moving right along. I am rambling. The Autism Month. Now, World Autism Month did come from Autism Speaks, and I do have to give them credit. The only reason we know about autism awareness, the only reason that's a bit buzzword, is because of Autism Speaks media power, their ability to get their name out there. Okay, and they championed autism awareness, and that's why we know about it. And once again, that ties into exactly what we're talking about. We have that name recognition. When people think of autism, the first thing that comes to mind is Autism Speaks and that puzzle piece. They are considered to be the authority because of name recognition. Autism Speaks marks an evolution in collaborating with and standing alongside the autistic community. I love the fact that they said autistic community instead of people with autism, because that makes it sound like a disease. By launching Autism Speaks Canada's World Autism Month campaign, the campaign, okay, so we want to see if this talks about autistic people or if it's directed towards Autism Speaks. And this is the thing. Autism Speaks always makes it about Autism Speaks, and for whatever reason, it seemed like your people out on the street do the same damn thing. It goes towards Autism Speaks. Autism Speaks, this great organization, and then it stays there and doesn't really. Well, we help Autism Speaks, and this organization does this. Donate now, but it doesn't get into autism. Actually, autistic people. We're not getting into education. And I was very ableist. Okay, Pink, I'm a horrible person. And thank you, you other three people watching. I would love it if you'd say hello in the chat and let me know who you are so I can say hello. Autism awareness, I like, okay, we're freaking aware. Autism awareness month would come up, and I'm like, so we're freaking aware. I didn't know I was autistic. Or my family was. And the thing is I was like, we're aware. And that's because that's where it stopped. And I just got tired of hearing about autism awareness and Autism Speaks. I was like, so the freak what? If you tell me the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, I don't care. I'm not learning anything. And so I kind of had a somewhat semi ableist attitude there. And that's why I've talked about autism acceptance, but I really talk about the autistic voice now due to that. It never has gotten past that, and right now still, and we're going to see this, it goes right back to that same thing. We're never really learning anything about autistic people. It's always we're learning about Autism Speaks, and the focal point. Even, and I don't know how they've done this or if it's just how our minds work, whatever, but it's always Autism Speaks. And even in the articles when, like we've already saw the one where instead of, we were talking about autistic people, representing autistic people, and then Keith Wargo, who is not autistic, the president of the CEO of Autism Speaks, spoke instead of the people he was championing who were supposed to be speaking for the autistic community. Crazy. And we just saw that, didn't we, Pika? The campaign includes a pledge. This pledge is so cringy. Oh my goodness. We're going to go to the pledge. Come on. Where's it? Take the pledge. Oh my God. This is so cringy. I don't know. I will be a true friend and advocate of the full autistic community. Now, they just changed this because of me. It used to say people with autism until the beginning here of April. It might have been like the last day of March, somewhere there. They changed a lot of like they didn't say support for autistic people. Wow, they're changing it a lot now. Oh my goodness, they have changed this for autistic individuals. The autism community, they have just changed this too. And here they say people with autism. Wow, I'm just skimming over this. So I'm so glad to see this. This is amazing, Pika. Oh my goodness, it was just the end of March, just a few days ago. They changed this language, and because there were always people with autism, and I was hammering them on TikTok and so forth. Why don't you fix this white page if you're going to fix that? I know you're watching. Why won't you do that? And I want to have a nice conversation. I know when I have a monologue, I'm coming off. But when I stream, I'm not going to attack you. I don't want to do that. I want to find out why you have a white page. I want to find out why you're speaking instead of us. I want to find out why the people you say represent autistic people don't. Those people, those champions. Why don't they represent us? I will be a true friend and advocate of the autistic community. See, now this is not from an autistic person's perspective at all, or speaking about the autistic person. This is about somebody else. I will respect and support those with autism. Once again, it's not about autistic people, it's about somebody else. And champion acceptance, not just awareness of differences. Now, see, they did use this with autism here. I will clarify the misconceptions about autism and guide others to reputable sources. Oh, this is so cringy. To help them on their journey. Now, I wish I could find this site, but what they do is when you call their ACT team, it's called ACT, and that's what they're talking about, Act Fearlessly here. And you say you put in your information for a ticket on the internet here, okay? They said they responded to 776,000 tickets, one way or another, inquiries. All they have to do is say, go to our website, and they can say they help the autistic community. Now, their website is like a early 90s, maybe late 80s. If you try to navigate this thing, it's really, I'm going to jump off this page because it's hurting me. When you try to navigate this site, it's very hard to navigate. But the thing is this, it's like a bad Google. But that's all they have to do. And it doesn't matter if they say go to the Autism Speaks website, they're providing resources. It doesn't matter if those lead to actual resources that help, or if those resources actually even apply. They can actually say they led autistic people to resources. Right? Oh, actually, yeah, and I do not ever take credit for things. I do not, but I will show you this. Okay, what I did on TikTok, it was almost 2 months ago. I had almost it's 800,000 views for a video I made about Autism Speaks. Okay, and then many other videos. I've probably had 1 million views. Okay, overall, speaking out about Autism Speaks. And that's been for a couple of months, and now I'm really pushing it hard. Okay, and I will show you here. Okay, Pink, and you'll see if you come on and watch me. Pink will come on here, and we were watching this video from Autism Speaks, and we both lost it at the same time. It was so crazy because we could tell she was talking about me. Because basically I said, stop the Autism Speaks fundraising ability.
Welcome to
And that's what I have been really pushing. Go on their website, stay on their website, let them know how much we appreciate them. And if their website crashes too darn bad, same thing with the phone lines. Call Autism Speaks, let people know how much we really appreciate them. And if their phone lines get tied up and they can't get those messages too darn bad, right? So that was the basic. I'm also the autistic page on TikTok. So Keith Wargo, after I did that and that went viral, I guess you would say, with 800,000 views. Um, he emails me directly, and he wanted to know what the autistic community could read needed. And I put that email up. I don't know if I still have that. I think I may have accidentally lost it. I hope not. But it's up on TikTok right now. I had to copy that, make sure I get it. Um, but he asked me, and he spoke about my son Kate, who committed suicide, and he also said that his son was autistic. And basically, he asked me what the autistic community needed. And I made, instead of directly answering him, I went to TikTok and made videos about that. And what I said is, ask the actually autistic community. And how does Autism Speaks not know what the actually autistic community needs? And why are you asking me? I'm a 53-year-old man that's unemployed, sitting in my father-in-law's house. Woo! I used to own a farm and everything else. I used to be fairly well to do. But anyway, so, okay, so this is oh, wait, this is 3 days ago. Okay, no, this is a different misconceptions thing.
We wanted help, but we.
Okay, so this was put out 3 weeks ago. Where is it at? She was talking about misconceptions and so forth. It was 3 weeks ago. Nope, that's not it. This one.
Drinking warm water before
Okay,
bed
so
balances blood
of course
sugar
I have to
levels
go to
and
a
reverse.
commercial here on YouTube. Okay,
We're
so she's
talking about autism, the
watch
podcast
this.
where hard questions are asked, controversial subjects are addressed, and everyone has a seat at the table.
Except for me, Eileen. I have begged to interview. I begged for you to interview me, and you won't do it because they know I'm going to ask tough questions, and I think they're scared. I wish you would, you people. I wish. Um, I believe there's Autism Speaks who's watching me right now. And so if I would really appreciate it if whoever's watching would just identify themselves. One, so I can say hello and know who you are. But if you're from Autism Speaks, I would certainly love to know who you are too. Maybe we can talk or whatever. Off, you know, whatever. But so what I did is I made it very, very public. And this is what happened. This is a month ago now. She's going to start
He's an
complaining.
autistic self-advocate, TikTok influencer, and above all, entrepreneur. He's the owner, founder.
All right, here we go. Now she's going to start complaining about me.
So GW, we've been talking in the past few months about all the negative comments we receive on social media, and you know that's part of the game. But in a way, it's really damaging to the autistic and autism community. I mean, these comments they have a big impact, not just on people's mental health, but they have a big impact on us as an organization because it's
Wait for it.
making it harder. It's making our fundraising efforts harder.
It's making okay. So this is kind of sad now, and actually, I think this is bullshit. I really do. Or maybe they think they're not going to make 400,000, and or maybe they'll only make 350,000 or something, and for their bonuses.
Health, but
But now she's complaining about she's whining about comments and misconceptions of autistic people on the internet. And what she was talking about was, I think, directly when me and Pink saw this, we both took it that she was directly talking about me. But here she is, like it just like a month later, talking about here it is.
I mean, these comments they have a big impact, not just on people's mental health, but they have a big impact on us as an organization because it's making it harder. It's making our fundraising efforts harder. There is a lot of misinformation out there. There is a lot of disinformation. And then there is also all the, ignorance and hate on social media. And all of these things, they really impact the autistic community. We need to find a common ground. We need to bring people together
We need to find the common ground. We need to bring people together.
so we can reach that same goal that we all want. We all want more services and more support for autistic people.
Well, then why are you investing? If we want more services, why the hell are you investing in science, which you started out, Autism Speaks, to commit genocide, to cure autism, to change my brain to make me someone else? That's pretty pathetic.
So I think it would be
And so that money, instead of being donated now, instead of all these millions and millions and millions of dollars going to donations, it should go to services. All right, so we went down that rabbit hole. Now let's go back. Where are we? All right. So now this is being. I'm getting back to where I went down my rabbit hole, and I'm going back. Currently, 1 in 50 children. It's so funny. I'm seeing so many of these. This is 1 in 50 in Canada. The numbers are all over the place still. I don't know. I don't know if I'm even going to see these numbers settle down in my lifetime. You know? I really don't. So let's look and see how this characterizes autistic people and how this frames Autism Speaks, and how Autism Speaks has made people associate autism directly to Autism Speaks rather than the autistic community. So let's look at this and see how that's framed. Autism Speaks Canada. So Autism Speaks is the subject, not autistic people. Canada marks an evolution in collaborating with standing alongside of the autistic community. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. I hadn't even read it. I haven't even seen this. Autism Speaks Canada World Autism Month campaign. The campaign includes a pledge. That's the Act Fearlessly pledge. I'm going to go back to that. Let's see if we got through that damn thing. Okay, so all this, like I said, was through the perspective. I think we did get through that. Okay, the prevalence. Okay, currently 1 in 50 children, youth are diagnosed with autism in Canada. The prevalence rate, combined with pervasive misconceptions about autism and the spread of disinformation, have made it more critical than ever that autistic people are supported and championed. That I have never ever seen this language before, ever, except for falling out of the mouth of Eileen Lamb. This is April 2nd. So it was February I did the thing. I don't know. I'm not going to say that this is coming directly from me. I don't know. That's really weird. Act fearlessly. Encourage autistic Canadians and allies to come together and stand fearlessly to advance meaningful change. Misconceptions about autism, frequent exclusion of autistic people from important conversations, threaten access to vital information, resources, and support autistic people and their family needs. So they're saying the nice things, but the subject was Autism Speaks. They went to Autism Speaks, not to autistic people. The Champions of Change program includes autistic advocates, spokespeople, worldwide range of experiences, support needs, and connections to autism. Champions of Change are advocates to the advisors for the nonprofit organization and to the autistic community at large, help steer the future of the organization. Autism Speaks Canada's inaugural Champion of Change, Alyssa Chapman. Oh, okay. That I was like, why do I recognize her name? Because, yeah, I think this is current. Her Alyssa Chapman. I keep on seeing this name, and I think she is currently involved with Canada's Autism Speaks. And see right here. Now we go. Now we're switching gears again, going straight back. We haven't gotten to autistic people or spoke. We're talking about autistic people. About autistic people. instead of autistic people. There, let's see. Alyssa Chapman is a self-advocate dedicated to the celebration and empowerment of communities. Okay. This is now we got to go down this rabbit hole. Because they said advocate, which sounds like she might be autistic. Okay, so yeah, okay, here she is. This oh okay, okay, okay. So I'm gonna go back to. I wish this would. Okay, this is LinkedIn. Okay, so yeah, she is autistic. So she is the autistic person in Autism Canada. Interesting. But I don't think she is. Autism Speaks Canada is not the Autism Speaks United States. It is like a subsidiary or a friend or whatever it is. It may be associated with, but it is not part of Autism Speaks, as far as financially and so forth, as far as I understand. So at least, so we got two tokens now. We got token USA and token Canada. No. Oh boy, because that's probably their token autistic person. I don't know how many Autism Speaks Canada has, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the only autistic person. That'd be so funny if we had a token Canada. I gotta look this up now. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what. I need to take a little rest here. I need to eat and so forth. So I'm going to take a little break. And I am going to come back, and I am probably going to use. I'm going to use StreamYard, and maybe I'll bring on some guests, and we'll do some more of this. I don't even know how many hours I've been going now. I was at 40 hours. I've got 2 hours right here, so I had to go. I think I started about 6. About 3 hours, I think now. Yeah, that's cool. And I think I'll get something to eat and take a little break and let my mind settle down a little bit. Pika, thank you so much. Yeah, and the thing is when I actually Pika, when I was with the going through that cult thing, when I came out of the cult, and it was a fundamentalist cult, and then I started studying cults, and then helping people get out of the cults, including that preacher and so forth. You see the same patterns, and I think it sounds. The sad thing is it sounds so damn extreme to call ABA a cult. It's a medical practice to call Autism Speaks a cult. It's a public service organization. But by the Stephen Hassan bite model of authoritarian control, it definitely fits into those definitions, just like the old pyramid schemes did. And so they're going to use the same narratives as you do with mind control, as with sales and so forth, where you use that manipulative speak to get what you want. You use that sales speak to get that sale. I learned that in the sales cult. You learn brain control in those sales cults and in sales. You learn mind control. That's what it is, which also goes, and that ties in, like say Ukraine right now. Say they randomly wanted to get people to torture that they don't do this. But say they wanted to expel information through mind control or brainwashing or whatever, and they didn't have like qualified practitioners. It would be your preachers and your salesperson, experts in that. That would be the best at that because they know how to manipulate the mind and how to influence people. That's their jobs. So yeah, it makes it very, very easy to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna get up, jump off of here for just a little bit, and then I will come back, and I think we're gonna have more fun because I have a little bit of energy tonight. So everybody come back, and like I said, I will be on StreamYard, and I look forward to seeing you folks. This is David Page. Screw them.